There's not a fucking chance in hell that Jake Paul would survive. Jake Paul's dead. He's dead. He's not gonna make it. If I was Jake Paul right now, I would be shitting my pants.
Oh, bro, if I'm fighting this guy.
Joe Rogan just went off on Jake Paul for canceling the Gervonta Davis fight, and it was brutal. He tore into Paul's ego, calling the decision reckless, embarrassing, and a complete disaster. The fallout didn't stay private. It shook social media, the combat sports world, and even Netflix, turning what should have been a high-profile event into a public nightmare for Paul.
God, for sure.
It looked like death. Death.
Joe Rogan came for Jake Paul's throat the moment the fight cancellation went public. No warming up. He went straight into a full-scale verbal demolition, tearing into Paul like a fighter disrespected the sport. Rogan didn't hold back, calling the move reckless, embarrassing, and a disaster, all created by Jake's own stupidity.
That's the fight.
That's going to be a big fight.
Big fight.
Yeah.
You could hear decades of respect for combat sports behind every word as Joe Rogan unloaded on Jake Paul. He accused Jake of playing stupid games with real killers like Gervonta Davis and then acting shocked when it all blew up. Rogan's fury wasn't just words. It was a lesson in respect, accountability, and what happens when hype meets reality.
It's a scary one for fighters, too, because things like there's something about fighters are adrenaline junkies that like to be pumped up and, yeah.
According to Joe Rogan, Jake Paul had been blinded by fame, Netflix money, and his own ego, thinking he could step into the ring with a power-punching monster like Tank Davis without consequences. Rogan made it brutally clear. This collapse was Jake finally hitting the reality he underestimated. The internet felt that punch. Rogan humiliated him, shredded the shiny YouTube superstar illusion, and left Jake standing like a confused rookie who thought he could bend the sport to his will.
They're all fucking
They've
crazy.
all done weird shit.
They're fucking crazy.
But Rogan's blast was just the first explosion. The second one rocked the entire boxing world like a meteor. On November 3rd, everything officially collapsed. Major promotions dropped the cancellation news with the subtlety of a grenade. The hype machine had been running full throttle, and then suddenly, nothing. The buzz, the excitement, the countdown, all gone in an instant.
Because he was going to get... Ben never could wrestle. He could never box.
No.
He's a wrestler. Tyron Woodley. I was so sad when Tyron Woodley kept losing to him. I love T. Wood, man.
The fight was dead, shut down instantly due to the civil lawsuit against Gervonta Tank Davis. No dramatic apology, no long explanation. Just a flat, ice-cold kill shot to the event millions had been waiting for.
That's crazy. I mean, if he's going to prepare, he needs like a real long camp to really get his body back to fighting shape, like real fighting shape.
Jake's team couldn't even spin it. They had to face the truth. The legal bomb under Gervonta Tank Davis made the entire event radioactive. Once the public processed it, the backlash erupted like a volcano. Comments under every post were filled with brutal mockery. Fans labeled Jake the king of failed events. People were angry, disappointed, entertained, and bloodthirsty all at once. The emotional chaos was insane. It felt like the entire fight community had been holding in frustration, and the cancellation gave them a green light to unleash it directly onto Jake's head.
Some stuff you could do for the entertainment, but then, hey man,
there's a line.
We talked about repercussions, bro.
Yeah,
you want to talk about somebody's wife?
Analysts said they had never seen a mega event collapse this violently, this publicly, and this fast. Normally, a high-profile fight dies quietly, slow leaks, vague excuses, but this one exploded like a bomb in a crowded room. Within minutes, everything was shattered. Ticket momentum, sponsorship confidence, social media hype, industry trust, all gone. Hours earlier, it looked like one of the biggest combat spectacles of the year. Now it was just ashes, a promotional catastrophe unfolding in real time.
He was a funny shit talker, and then it seemed later in the career it was more almost like forced, like he was trying to be the villain. You know what I mean?
Darker.
It's no fun.
Well, it's also you're dealing with people that are dealing with the pressures of being at the top of one of the most dangerous occupations in the world.
And behind the scenes, the chaos was even worse. The real panic erupted inside Netflix. The streaming giant, which had been pushing aggressively into boxing, suddenly found itself in a full-blown crisis. The moment the cancellation hit, offices erupted with emergency meetings, frantic calls, and panicked questions about the next move. Jake wasn't just a fighter. He was supposed to be the face of Netflix's experimental combat push. Now he had become a liability, sitting atop a mountain of legal controversy and shatter hype.
One shot, knockout power. Yeah.
He had that.
And this wasn't just another fight gone wrong. This was a full-scale collapse, a chain reaction tearing through every corner of the combat sports world. First, Rogan's nuclear rant, then the lawsuit explosion, followed by the official cancellation, the fan riot, and the industry panic. Every part of the business was hit simultaneously, like dominoes falling without end. This fight didn't just get canceled, it crashed, it burned, and it dragged everything around it into the fire. And the scariest part? This was only the beginning of the damage Jake Paul would face.
Every day when you go to bed, you know there's some dude out there that wants to kick you in the fucking dick.
The storm darkened the moment the lawsuit dropped. Suddenly, Gervonta Davis wasn't just a dangerous fighter, he became the most radioactive name in boxing. One court filing out of Miami-Dade, and the event didn't just wobble, it collapsed completely, like the ceiling caved in. The allegations weren't vague tabloid nonsense, they were specific, ugly, and gut-punching. Aggravated battery, kidnapping, and violent misconduct. Overnight, Tank went from pound-for-pound terror to headline poison, and fans felt the shock instantly. Whispers about his offering behavior turned into a full-blown media onslaught, reopening old arrests, domestic violence cases, and warning signs everyone had ignored because he was knocking men unconscious in the ring. The boxing world finally faced the truth. A superstar with a pattern of violence the industry had kept overlooking. Until now.
And I think if you were to pause there and ask most people, what do you think he's going to answer? What do you think a fighter would answer to this? We would probably expect things like, I want to prove that I still got it. I want to prove that I could put this YouTuber down.
And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any darker, they did. Right as the lawsuit made Tank the most toxic name in boxing, another firestorm erupted online, the alleged scripted fight scandal. Yes, scripted, as in rehearsed, choreographed, and designed for show rather than sport.
Bullshit that it sucks and it's there, but it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just like, oh, this has happened before. Thick skin, cool, move on.
It started with whispers. Someone on social media claimed leaked clips were circulating. Normally, this would be dismissed as fans trolling, but not this time. The rumors grew legs, then a spine, and suddenly the entire internet was sprinting after them. People claimed they saw Jake and Tank walking through exchanges, practicing reactions, hitting beats like a movie scene rather than a real fight. And the timing? Perfect chaos. The lawsuit hits, the fight dies, and suddenly claims of staged footage drop right into the fire like gasoline on a blaze.
60 years old.
Right.
I want Jake Paul to fight guys that...
He said he wants to fight Canelo.
Canelo fights 154 or 160. That's one of his best weights.
Right.
He'll fight it.
And who jumps on this firestorm? Joe Rogan, of course. Because when a rumor hits big enough to shake the sport, Rogan doesn't just talk about it, he launches it into orbit on his podcast. He dives into disturbing reports claiming trusted sources told him something didn't look right. And when Rogan says it, the fans don't just listen, they panic. Suddenly, every comment section explodes with people screaming, "Was this scripted?"
I'm watching how calm, genuinely calm he was. I'm like, this guy and Dana said it best. He's like, he eats pressure. He just eats it. He likes it. He wants it to be chaos. Got a guy say that.
And the craziest part? Rogan wasn't alone. Daniel Cormier weighed in. Dana White got involved. Even Calvin Ford, Tank's own coach, was side-eyeing the whole Netflix circus. Everyone was shocked that a mega fight was being treated like a content product instead of a real boxing showdown. The phrase on everyone's lips? Creative control. Netflix apparently wanted to manipulate the fight, its flow, its structure, even the moments themselves. Since when does a streaming service get to decide when punches land? Moments in boxing happen because someone earns them, not because a producer thinks it'll test well worldwide.
Jake fought a guy who was his age and was also considered a boxer, and he lost.
Insiders started whispering that the Jake versus Tank matchup didn't feel like a boxing event anymore. It looked like a Hollywood production, just wearing gloves. Fans were outraged. Boxing caused politics, corruption, and questionable judging, sure. But scripted rounds and choreographed sequences? That's the line no one wants crossed. Then the worst realization hit. Maybe the cancellation wasn't a tragedy, it was a cover. Maybe the lawsuit didn't really kill the fight. Maybe it conveniently stopped the world from seeing something boxing wasn't built to survive. The biggest event of the year was teetering on the edge of becoming a Netflix spectacle, designed more for algorithms than for punches. Suddenly the narrative flipped. Jake didn't look like the unlucky victim. Tank wasn't the only villain. And Netflix, not exactly innocent. Fans were left asking the question everyone feared. Was this entire fiasco doomed from the start?
Like T Wood, like
well, you don't see the butt that look. You don't see them punches, bro. That's not what.
That's not what we do. I can't box these guys.
No.
Jake Paul tried to mess with me for a while until I went up to him in Orlando. I said, I don't play like these kids.
Thanks for watching Ring Pulse. Hit the like button, smash the subscribe, and stay tuned for more hard-hitting boxing action.